Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great day. Oh my gosh, so much happening around here today. I had to go get my flu shot today. And while I was there, I was like, give me my COVID shot too. And then they told me I was due for my DPT, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that one too. So I got 3 vaccinations today, and I'm like, it seems like a lot, but at least I didn't have to go to the doctor's office to get them. I went to Sam's Club, and I like their pharmacists there. They're trained well. And so that was my exciting day today. Getting all of my vaccinations, holy moly. And if you're wondering why or how Sam's Club knew I needed my DPT, that is because the state of Illinois has this big statewide database for vaccinations. And if you get a vaccination in Illinois, you go into this database, and the database shows what you're due for, and I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty accurate. And I've been getting the reminder on my medical app for a while that I've been due for my DPT. So I'm like, okay, I got all 3. Let's see how sick I am tomorrow, right? Like sometimes that stuff really drags you out while your immune system kicks in to try to fight off all of those diseases and make all those fun antibodies and stuff. And so we'll see. Steve goes to the racetrack tomorrow. So that brings me to thing number 1. Before we do a project today, I have announcements. I have things to share. I'm so excited. So tomorrow night I am free, essentially. That's what it boils down to. Unless these vaccinations make me feel sick for some reason or tired, I'm going live tomorrow night. Even if you guys can't make it, and I sure hope somebody can, because it's a lot more fun if somebody can. And I was just going to do a Zoom meeting because it's a lot more fun if we can all talk. But the Zoom meetings, unless you pay for Zoom, they're very short. And it's going to take me a while to put together what I want to put together. So my thought is either Halloween cards or Thanksgiving cards, and I'm not sure which I'm going to make. So these are my options. If I do Halloween, I have the Simple Stories collector pack, and it has all these different papers. It has a lot of little things that I can cut apart and use on cards. It has a lot of bits and die cuts. It has a roll of washi and a lot of stickers. And so with this one, I have a lot of bits and bobs to add to the cards. Not everybody loves Halloween cards, and I'm going to show you, I've already made a bunch, so maybe this, I don't know about this one. My other option is I have this photo play pack. It's called Fall Breeze, and I think I bought it at the Daisy Lane sale last year for like $3 or something. Sometimes you find these packs that you wouldn't maybe normally just buy them all, but when they're so inexpensive and they're complete, it's hard to pass them up. And so they have the cut aparts, stickers, and lots of papers. The only issue I have is that some of the stickers are really big. You can tell they're made more for scrapbooking. And so it wouldn't make as many cards. But I think I've got that solved if I do that one. My other option is this one, Celebrate Autumn. And I just got this one at the expo. They had a deal where I think it was... I can't remember if it was 6 packs for $24 or something like that. I can't remember exactly the deal, but this ended up being somewhere around $4 or $5, probably $5. But you can see it's the same colors, and then it has the pocket, you know, cut aparts and the sticker sheet. And I may go with this one. It's a little more generic, a little more Thanksgiving-like. So if I do Thanksgiving cards, I'll use this one. And then I also picked up a sticker sheet, which was normally like $3.79. I've had this, I bought it for like $1. And then I had this Echo Park chipboard sheet that I picked up at Daisy Lane or something. You know, I look for stuff like this that will make, you know, lots of cards. So that's my plan. So I'll probably end up using this one tomorrow, just because I have a lot more options and everything is very small. So it fits on a card. I haven't decided the card base yet, but my plan is we can all make a card base together, and then you can use whatever paper you have to, you know, do your thing while we play. And then, you know, I'm just gonna work on them until I get tired and then say goodnight, and you can do the same. Anyway, I've been playing a little bit, making Halloween. I made several of these. This one was made by doing a white panel and just distress ink in, I can't remember what color that was, orange and mustard seed. And I just did that across. And then I used the Stampin' Up! Set to do the little Halloween images. This is a die cut that I got from the Crafter's Companion on HSN. And the rest of it's Stampin' Up! So I just thought that was really cute. I just need to get the Happy Halloween on the inside. I put some gems on it. You can see them sparkle. These, I wanted to make a bunch of shakers using the Stampin' Up! Set. So this was done. Everything on here is pretty much Stampin' Up! As far as these images go, except for that little frog. That little frog right there is actually an old superset from Close to My Heart. And the frog is adorable, but I've never even used him. And he's actually smiling. I colored in his mouth and made a new mouth because I wanted to make it look like he was jumping in, you know, falling in or jumping in. Lots of shimmer on here. And then the inside, of course, is not Stampin' Up! The little beads. Anyway, I thought that was adorable, and I made a whole bunch of those. So then I picked up one of those 8x8 department graphic 45 packs, the Halloween one, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it because it's not like I have gobs of pictures to scrapbook. So I decided to make some cards for JJ. And so the other day I just cut a whole bunch of bases and I cut up that paper pack and, you know, just started using it. This right here and this right here are the same, from that same Crafter's Companion die. Otherwise, this is Close to My Heart message. And I just kind of cut up the papers and cut up the little pictures and kind of put them all over. I added a lot of shimmer, like, remember that ghost from Close to My Heart? I added a lot of shimmer pen. It's really hard to see on a camera, but I thought about adding a few little blingy things to the front and then calling it done. All of them could use just a little bit of bling. And I bumped my shelf where I keep my bling the other day, and the entire thing fell on the floor, shelf and all. I had bling, it felt like for miles. And so isn't that paper beautiful? Anyway, I sorted through all of my bling. I was gonna think about getting rid of some of it, and I'm like, what am I saying? I buy it like crazy. I love it. I just need to use it. So I just need to use it. And I have some really cool black. I have some really cool purple bling that would look really good on here. And so I definitely just need to get it out. You know, I think I'm done. I'm over the hoarding thing. Anyway, so these are the cards I made. I think these turned out really nice, and they're all basically the same. I mean, I just started cutting, just like what we're gonna do Thursday. I just started cutting paper apart and gluing it on, and then I just went through and decorated the heck out of them. I put a message on, and now I just need to put bling on, and then that'll be done, which is great. That's a lot of cards. That I think there were 15 of the graphic 45, and I was able to throw away, oh, I don't know, a couple of sheets. I have like some of the, I even used the cover. The other thing I wanted to share with you is a couple things. I was getting out my fall stuff. Yes, I got out my fall stuff, you guys. But these I made a couple years ago using, gosh, is it Honeybee? I think it might be from Honeybee, their dies. And they have a whole bunch of different houses. So they have a beach house and a farmhouse and a barn and a whatever, and a gingerbread house and all that. And this one is the, Halloween house. And so I put these out every year. They're basically card fronts. And I just set them up against something because I just love them and I couldn't give them away. Okay. And then I wanted to show you this. This is a sampler. This is one of the very first things I ever made using Stampin' Up! Products. Julie Davison had a workshop. I think Margie invited me. I think it was Margie. And basically you paid like $5 for the frame. She had bought them in bulk. They were like 8 by 8. And then I can't remember. I think you just had to place an order. I don't even think if it was something that we had to pay for, the class itself, Margie paid for me because I don't remember paying for it. But look how adorable. These sampler deals like this are super popular among Stampin' Up. And if you go to Pinterest or just online and just do a Google search for Stampin' Up! Sampler, you will find gobs of these. And some people do them 12 by 12, some people do them different sizes, but basically you can see they're just squares, and then each square has a little decoration. And this was the year that the little gingerbread man came out, and in addition to that punch that I have, also punches out this little Dracula. It also punches out this little skeleton. It has, I can't remember what else it did besides that, but we did that for the class. So she just had all these little squares pre-cut, and we just put them on, popped up we stamped the little spider, tied this little bow. I mean, this is just baker's twine, and look how cute. And then this little door opens. So, you know, it was a put it together quick and easy, but I gotta tell you, that was, man, was it 10 years ago? It may have even been longer. I do not remember how long it's been. So one of the Stampin' Up! People watching may remember what year the little gingerbread man came out. Anyway, I've been putting this up every single year ever since. I just love it. And this would be a really cool thing to do using like that little reindeer set, or, you know, some of the other stamps that are cute. That would be nice just to set up on your table, or, you know, a shelf or something in your house. The little globe, the snow globe, that would be really cute. Anyway, just wanted to show you that. Lots of stuff. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you before we get started, sheesh, I'm in love with this retro style paper. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. But it is something that I don't know why. It just brings back a lot of memories. On my dad's side of the family, I had an aunt who would decorate her whole house in like the old time looking cardboard cutouts and stuff. All over the house. Remember those? You could get them at like Kmart and stuff. And then all of our paper was kind of retro looking like this. I fell in love with this. And the cool thing is, this is their donation set. They have a charity that they donate to for every suite that gets purchased. It's like a kids charity. I'm sorry, I can't recall the name of it because that's really terrible of me. But it's just a really neat thing. I bought multiple sets of this paper. You may get sick of it. I'm very sorry. But I love it. Look at that. I know, it's very retro. It's not everybody's favorite pattern, but I just love it. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to tell you is that this is from that Nature's Treasures. Remember how it had all that gold foil stuff? And if you do not have regular gold foil paper, Stampin' Up! Has a lot of these foil prints in a lot of their other paper packs. And so these go really cool with this retro paper. Okay, so let me just show you what I've been doing. I hope you like it. Actually, I guess I don't care if you like it. I want you to like it. Okay, so this one is one where I use that tree. I used Journey as my background. It's very blue. It's very in your face. But these little presents and things on here are like that Journey blue. They are really blue. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to make that kind of pop. Instead of using traditional red and green, I'm going to use that blue. And I'm going to, just try to see what I can do. So you can see down at the bottom, I used that tree die cut set, and I'm so proud, you guys, you have no idea, but there's a little die in there that cuts these little borders for the tree or the garland, and I made it into popcorn and cranberries. I just thought that was really cute. I just cut it in off-white and then dotted a few of them red for the cranberries. It really does look like popcorn and cranberries on the page. And then I used my gold foil from my from Stampin' Up! Actually to back this red. And I used these letters right here are Contraband. I think they're the Pink Fresh letters. Stephanie, you might have those. But I just looked and looked for an alphabet that looked good for this layout, because it could say anything, right? It could say, I wanted it to say trim the tree or something like that. I don't know, but whatever. My plan is to use this for tree pictures. The background's pretty busy. It needs to be some not too busy pictures. And then the little bells on here are the set that we're going to use today. So these little bells, and then the ribbon. Okay, that ribbon, I know it looks like everybody keeps calling it like baby poop. It is what color is that? Wheat, wild wheat, I think. Why do not I never see? Oh yeah, wild wheat. They use the smallest print to show the color. I need to like circle it every time or something. Anyway, it's a very greeny yellow. In other words, it's gold. And so when you put it up next to gold, it really does look gold. And so it's perfect for these like gold papers and stuff. So that's why I got it. I'm not going to use it with Well, I might use it with autumn. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you like that. That's my first Christmas layout. I'm very proud of it. Here's where I used that Nature's Sweetness. I think that's the name of it. Nature's Treasures? Nature's Sweetness. Gold print. I just used a strip of it on each page. I liked that it wasn't just solid, and it added a little something. Okay, wow. Let's put that away and let's see what's next. Okay, so the project today. I think I mentioned we're gonna use the bells. We're not gonna use the bells today, but I just want to show you this set. All right, so this is called, I think it's called Green and Gold. Green and Gold. Let me see. Graceful Greenery Vellum and Season of Green and Gold Designer Series paper. So I just want to show you that there's a suite of these things, and one of the things in the suite is the Golden Greenery stamp set. And you can see the greenery pieces, the bells, and so you get the stamps, which is great. And then you get the dies. And the dies, you can see, they don't all, some of them match up perfectly, you know, with the stamps that, you know, almost all of these have a die that coordinates the bell, everything, even the little berries. But it also coordinates with the paper. And so let me just show you that. So this is one side of all the papers is the greens, right? And then when you flip them over, you get the golds and the gold foils. Aren't those gorgeous? So you have like this cool shimmery star. And here is this all over print. Now see, that would look fabulous with some of those like retro papers. I'm just saying, you don't have to use it all in this. You don't have to use all this together, but you can. The bells, you can see, will cut right out of the paper. If you don't want to stamp them, look at that. You can just cut your own, you know, pieces out of here. Here is another shimmery gold foil, but it's in little tiny diamonds. And then there's this piece. Now this one has a lot of die cuts. So this cuts out, and this cuts out, and this cuts out. The little berries will cut out. Look at that. See, they'll match right up. So if you did not want, you know, to stamp, at least for a while, you could totally use these dies and cut out these pieces. If you just cut out all these pieces, you could do kind of like I did with those leaves, where you have stacks and stacks of them, and assembly line your cards. Look how fast that would go, right? Anyway, then the vellum, there's like 3 different patterns of vellum, and these cut out as well. So if you wanted to cut the vellum, you could. And so all that and that and the thing cuts out. These cut out as well. And this vellum is thick. I mean, okay, like you can hardly see my hand behind it. Like here's a stamp pad. Look, you can barely read it, right? It's not that real thin, sheer vellum. It's sturdy. And then there's this white, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. So this is like the sweet, but I'm full on fall right now. Okay, I've been on for 25 minutes. Now we're just getting started on our project. Yikes. So I kind of wanted to do fall. And I was looking at my, that country woods and country lace. And I had these papers left. This is kind of grayish, and on the back it's like this kind of goldish brown tan. And I thought, well, I could use that goldish tan color on a layout for fall. And then I was gonna try to use this flannel, but it's so gray. But the other side is that same kind of golden brown tone. So I thought, well, that might work. And then in the wood paper, I had this one that has that orangey color. Not that one, but the back. And I thought, well, I can use those. I don't have much denim left, or I would have considered using denim. And then I have some of that Nature's Treasures, Nature's Sweetness. I think it's Nature's Treasures. I need to look that up. Anyway, whatever. I have some of it left. So my thought is to make a kind of a wreath and anchor it with like a strip of the wood grain. So I cut 1 inch of the wood grain. That way I can make my wreath a little not dead center. I just want to make sure I don't, I want to leave a little space over here. And the rest of it, I'm going to make a wreath. Now, I got out fall colors. I know, it's a lot. But, I was like, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to use. I know I want to use Harbor. I know I want to use Paprika. And I definitely need a little bit of green, and I may do a light and a dark. So I've got Sage and New England Ivy. And then I was kind of like, okay, from there, what's missing is the browns. So I got out a couple of browns, and I got out a red so these are my fall-ish colors that I sort of got out to play with. And I'm just gonna start. Let me just clean off a little space over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this Golden Greenery stamp set because I don't need the bells, obviously, but I do want to use some of these pieces. Now, the problem is, of course, some of this greenery looks very Christmassy. Like this right here is very solid evergreen. I don't really know if I want to use that solid evergreen or not. And then some of them are base and shade. So for example, this is like a base and this is a shade. So I got to be careful about, how I use them, I guess. So let's start with this evergreen here. And I'm starting with Sage. It's light, and I'm just going to make a giant circle-ish. And I could make it all, like going around like this, but I'm going to make it stick out, like more out. And it's going to overlap, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just wanting to get all the colors in there, right? I just want to get colors in there. Okay, so there is my Sage and my evergreen guy. I think I want a dark green as well. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the light colors first or the dark colors. Let's go back and forth. I'm going to do this one in the dark green. And this is sort of the, I think this is actually the shade stamp for that flower that I showed you. Oh no, it's this one right here, right there. So let's see. So I'm just gonna kind of go around. I just want enough of the color so that, I mean, this, you could do this in Christmas colors, obviously. But I want this to be fall. Okay, there's that one. I need to get into some fall-ish colors, so maybe I'll go with paprika next. And I think the paprika, I want it to be bold, and so I think I'm going to go with the boldest stamp, which is a solid stamp. And I'm just gonna go around, and everywhere I have this light green, I'm just gonna add some of that paprika. Look at that. Wow, 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 right? And it's okay if it overlaps, and it's okay if it doesn't stamp exactly perfect, because we're just going to keep going and create this wreath. We're just going to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. I'm going to go with acorn, which is the equivalent of that wild wheat, which is sort of that kind of brown that looks like baby poop or something. I want to use that stamp, but did I put that on a block? Oh yeah, no I didn't. Here it is. I think I'll use this one. One thing about having lots of blocks is I can put everything on. Okay, so now you can see where like these would layer and make it and be beautiful, but I'm just going to use it as a separate entity, so to speak. I just want it separate, and I'm going to, what this does is it just adds some gold into the mix, which is definitely a fallish looking brown. I'm not loving how that stamped, but I think it'll mostly be covered up anyway. Okay, and then I can put some brown in here, or I could put some red in here. Red starts making it look a little Christmassy. Let's do some brown. You can see how beautiful this would be in the right colors, right? Like in other colors, it would be the, like, all greens and different greens. It could be greens and reds. It could be, you know, just imagine how pretty. And this, guess where I got this wreath idea? I mean, it's not that I've never made a wreath before, right? I've always made wreaths, but I thought this would be awesome. After I saw that Lego wreath, Stephanie, oh my gosh, I was like, I need to make a wreath. Okay, so this is kind of where I want to start. And then from here, I need to make a plan. I'm not completely sure what I want to do yet. All right, so give me a sec. I did die cut a bunch of papers. Let me just get myself together here. I have this stack over here, and I want to use it on page 2, but I don't want to lose anything. Okay, so page 2. There's my title. Okay. Page 2 is from that country lace paper, and you can see the back of it is that gray flannelly looking stripe, and I really wanted to use it, but it's just not fall looking. But this side is just gorgeous. It's got that golden tone, okay? And then I wanted to bring in that wood grain with the orange, so I definitely want to have the majority of this page be the wood grain, and you could do anything you wanted on this side. With that wreath, you know you're not going to be able to put tons of photos there, so you could do squares, like you could do 3 up and down pictures. You could put a couple here, or you could just do like 3 or 4 inch squares and make a collage type of page. But I cut this, yes, it's acorn, which means it's kind of a gold color. I cut a variety of sizes, and I kind of liked how this looked, like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on before I change my mind, because I feel like I'm constantly messing with these things. And I'm gonna tuck, so I'm not putting adhesive near the edges, because I got a plan, right? And so I don't want them to fall off the page either, though. All right, so that's that. Oh, I forgot one thing before I put this on there. I want to add more of that paprika color. So I cut a strip to put down here at the bottom. I just think it adds to that fall look, and you could use any of the colors in your wreath to do this, but I just really liked the orange. I just think it really adds to fall. You know, it hurts a little bit to be in the fall mood and know that today's the first day to be able to order the fall paper. It's like, oh, but I need it now, because my brain is in fall. My brain is already there. So, okay. So there's that one. On this side, I have this wood strip, and that helps tie it together. Now, I could have made it wider. I could make it like a pretty good width. I could even do multiple strips over here. Like, this is a 1 inch strip. I could do a 1/2 inch strip or a 1/4 inch strip. But I'm going to just put this down on the edge. Like that. And then, you know, I cut a strip of this country lace. This is the back side. It's like that gray. And I kind of liked having it over here to tie with this paper. In real life, you can really see the pattern on this. And so it goes from no pattern to pattern. And so it's kind of nice to have a little something just to tie that together. And so I'm just gonna put that here. Ugh, not crooked, I hope. I'm terrible about dropping stuff with adhesive on it. It sticks Okay, and then obviously I need the same, you know, strip over here that I have over here. So I'm just gonna put that on here. I like using the liquid glue to put these little 1/4-inch strips on because the adhesive is so hard to put on with a tape runner. I mean, you have to be like so precise, and liquid glue allows me to wiggle it around a little bit and try to make it straight. Although I feel like, did I make it crooked on purpose? I don't know what I just did, but it's a little crooked, but not terrible. Okay. Now, obviously I need to decide photos on this side. I did cut a couple of photo mats and I put foam tape on this one because I like the angle thing. I like, you know, this kind of style so that you can see the wreath. Now, since I have a horizontal picture here, a square horizontal, I think I need one vertical. So I think I'm going to put one vertical. I could put it over here like this, but I kind of like how it flows this way, right? You can do it, you know, any way you want. But this is how, and I'm doing the true side of acorn. Acorn is not everybody's favorite color, but for fall, look how beautiful. So I'm going to, I want to make sure the wreath shows all the way around. And same way with this one. I'm not going to peel off this adhesive because it's going to overlap. I'm only going to adhere this left side. And by taking these 3 strips off and keeping these on, what that allows me to do is cross it over like this and still put my photo in place or tuck things in. And once I have everything photo-wise in place, I can peel that off and stick it down or whatever. Or just leave it, whatever. Okay, now, here's where the magic happens because I decided I wanted to add a punch of color. This is really pretty, right? But I wanted to add a blue, and Harbor, to me, was a really good blue for the fall colors that I picked. And so I took these die cuts and I just cut a whole bunch of different dies in different colors. So some of these, I just die cut some. So here is what I ended up with. So I have some of these in Harbor, and look at that with this wreath. Ah, isn't that pretty? Adding blue to this, it just adds something. And so I just need to decide where I want these, and I think it'll be best if I distribute them in like the triangle idea. The other thing that I cut was some scarlet, and I actually die cut these and then I stamped them with scarlet ink to give them the accent. So that was the base shade idea. So I die cut them and then use the shade stamp, right? And I really like the idea of adding a little bit of red. I don't know whether this is going to stay here or not. I'm just playing around with approximately where I'd like to keep them, I think. I'll probably mess around with it 1,000 times. I don't want this to get lost in the stuff, you know what I mean? I want to be able to see that blue. Okay, the other one that I die cut is this one, and it is in that paprika color, and I really love orange, the addition of orange to this with the blue really adds to the fall look. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit better. Hold on a minute. I'm trying. This is really, Facebook, it's really hard to do now that they've messed around so much with that. So I love the addition of the orange, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it yet, maybe down here, but I do really like the additional color. I don't know yet. I don't know about the red. I don't know about that, any of it. I cut this out in that acorn color, but you can see it's so matchy. When you tuck it in, it just isn't, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe down here. I don't know about that. I'm torn. And then I thought, well, I have green, so let me cut a few of the evergreen branches, you know, the pine branches, and just see if any of those add to it or make it look too, you know, Christmassy. And I think it does help anchor these a little bit. Like, it just, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily look Christmassy by adding that. So I do think it helps a little, but it's just adding the color and a little sprig. So this is busy over here, so I don't want to get too crazy. So the other thing I did is I dug through that envelope of leaves that I had. Remember how that Changing Leaves set has this maple and elm. I think that's an elm. I'm not sure. But I had a whole bunch of different things, and I thought might as well see if there's any that I can use. And by adding brown, it helps take some of the clutter look away. It does anchor that a little bit, and adds more of a fall look with that type of leaf. Okay, so there's that. And I have, you know, a couple of different ones that I can add, and you can see, I hope you can kind of get the feel for that without it looking like just spatter everywhere, because I don't want it to look like, whoa, too much. And then I got a pack of cardstock from Stampin' Up. I just bought one of their neutral packs, and it had this blue in it. Now, if you are an old time close to my heart person like me, this one is called Misty Moonlight. And you have the old outdoor denim. It's almost, I know it looks darker, but it's almost a perfect match. And light sapphire, it's a little brighter, but it would look really good too. And so I used that, and I cut out I had another set that had this, it's like a message thing that you could cut out as a background for a message. And I just chopped it in half to make some tabs. And I like the addition of blue to this layout. Now, wherever you want to put it, that looks nice there. So, you know, you can see what I'm talking about, though, how it really does help to have some of that there, and it may, maybe I just have too much, but there we go, like that. Okay, the other addition I thought about making is the gold or copper, because when I was messing around in here with my extra pieces, I had a whole bunch of the like gold pieces, and look at that gold addition. It really is, it adds to the fall. It makes it very classy. See that? So that's an option. And I also had the little, the little sprigs. They're all stuck together, but you see, like, there's a copper sprig, and that copper with this looks so cool. So you could just tuck that in or behind. See how neat that looks? I really think overall this looks really nice, and I think the addition of the blue is doing something for me. I like it. You know how I had some of the leaves that were made in that metallic paper that Stampin' Up! Has? That looks really nice on here also. So, you can add little bits and pieces to that layout and just make it yours, whatever you want to add. I have gobs of stuff in here. I even was thinking about looking at some really small messages to add to this, like the little messages like "You are amazing in every single way" would fit perfectly on one of these little tabs. It would look really nice. And so those kind of things you can just add. And just going through some of these things, even adding like more brown or something, it does help sometimes to play around with what you've got. And I really love this Thankful for You. I really did, look around for a title. The title was hard because I didn't want to get out my Cricut. And last year I used that Thankful, Grateful set from Close to My Heart 2 or 3 times. I don't want my whole book to be full of the exact same font or stamp or whatever. And I've used it a couple years in a row. So I did go ahead and get out those little letters from Stampin' Up. And even though they're small, I think they're gonna add a nice look to this. So, okay, tell me what you think. So, I just, this is basically it. Oh, except I also want to show you, you don't have to watch me glue all this on. Let me just lay it in place and I'll show you the next part. Thankful. I can glue those on later. And then down here I have For You. And I think I'm going to put some journaling here on strips, like journaling strips. And, okay. So then I thought, okay, it could use a little bling or something, right? It could use just a little bling. So I was looking at options, and this is the 2023 to 25 color dots in color dots. And I really like these, especially these brown ones. But then I was like, wow, the blue. Look at what happens if you know, add the blue dots to this. It does bring out that blue color to the layout. The other dots that would work really good is this like this brown color. I don't think any of the others on here will work. Then I also have, again, these neutrals, sequins. There's a lot of options here because, of course, the gold goes, you know, with this acorn paper. But if you really want to make it fall, you could accentuate the browns and coppers by just adding some bling around your clusters or around your wreath. So those are some options that I thought about even mixing them a little bit and using a little bit of both. That's my layout today, and I hope you like it. And then tomorrow, I'll be on live at 6:30, and if nobody is here and I'm totally by myself, I'll just keep recording and keep talking while I go. That way, if you come back later and want to do the same thing yourself, you can just play my video and craft along with my video. Totally up to you. And if nobody loves it, I'll just get rid of it. The copper stickles are another, you know, option. I may use a few stickles on some of the leaves. I haven't decided if it'll be too busy or if it'll be really good. Okay, I hope you love it, and let me know what you think, because this looks a little spattery, and so I'm going to work on this a little bit. I could have moved these apart maybe. I don't know if that would help. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.